Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto. Hope you're having a great day. So there's a lot going on right now. First, I want to give a big shout out to Morgan and John. Thanks a lot for keeping me on my toes, guys. Greatly appreciate it. We've got CNBC. Oh, well, according to CNBC, Jim Cramer is saying sell your crypto. Now, back in August, I told you how I felt about Jim Cramer. I called him Mr. Flip Flop. Then in October, if you go back in August, I believe it's August 31st and October 6th, respectively. First, I told you how I felt about Jim Cramer, and the second one, I told you about how Tuttle came out with the Inverse Cramer ETF. Stop there. Jim Cramer saying sell your crypto. I'm one of those people that believe that Jim Cramer is basically telling us, hey, do the exact opposite. Because if you look at his past ramblings, he has said that before, and almost every single time, you would have lost money had you done what he said, but you would have made money if you did the exact opposite. Hold that. In bigger news, Nexo citing regulatory concerns, meaning it's too hard to work with the regulators in the United States. They're saying, well, okay, we tried. We're pulling out. That should be ringing alarm bells right now, because as you sit back and you think about this, it is not good for the DeFi space. And it makes me wonder, right? The big players are getting into crypto while little players seem to be getting forced out by regulation. And I'm wondering if the right regulations are there, if they're working with these companies to create proper regulation for the space, but I'm kind of noticing a trend, what I think could wind up being a trend. Something else that I'm paying attention to is New York State is looking to charge the crypto industry to regulate it. Don't get any bees in your bonnet, and the reason why is because that is a standard practice for different industries. So I'm not worried about that. What I am concerned about is New York State has not been an easy place for any crypto business to exist. So you want to regulate, but you don't want them to operate, is my problem. Just look at Bitfinex and Tether. Combined, they had to pay $18.5 million in fines, and they cannot operate in the state. What? Oh, better. Not only can they not operate in the state, but they still have to submit to regulatory exams or regulatory checks by New York State. What? New York State you're losing out, period. You're losing out. You're going to see a lot of companies just say, you know what, screw New York. We're going to take our business to California or some other state that's a little bit friendlier toward crypto, that makes it easier for them to operate, still with regulation, but easier to operate. I mean, that's really the problem. That really is the problem. So we'll see how this all plays out. I think as a state, New York needs to fix itself. That said, I'm looking at companies like Goldman Sachs. Well, let me reverse. Everybody's waiting for Caroline Ellison of Alameda to flip on Sam Bankman-Fried, right? Well, everybody's looking over there. I'm looking over here to Goldman Sachs. And the reason why is because Goldman Sachs is probably just one of the large traditional financial institutions that are saying, you know what? Because of that implosion over there, there might be some really big nuggets that we'd be able to get on the cheap. Now think about that. They're not the only ones that are sitting there with cash on hand ready to snatch things up. So I can see other companies doing the same, and I don't know that I'm mad about it. Actually, I know that I'm not mad about it. I'm actually happy about it. So I'm just saying. I think it should be said that it's not crypto that has failed. It's bad actors that have failed crypto, right? You're not hearing about projects right now that are causing huge problems. You're hearing about bad actors that have caused huge problems that have now rippled out to smaller companies that are going to be impacted. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing how regulatory bodies are fighting over, regulating spaces, looking at CFTC, looking at SEC. Well, basically, CFTC has basically, given up, right? And now Gary Gensler, have given the reins over to Gary Gensler, who is basically making a case for destroying crypto. I don't know how else to say it. He's not making moves to help crypto. He's not making moves to help crypto understand the regulation and what works out there. He's not doing anything like that. He's regulating by enforcement. That's it. That's all there is to it. And when I look at what he's doing and how he's doing it, I turn around and say, well, didn't Gary once work at Goldman Sachs? Huh. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything going on there, and I wouldn't even think about it. It's just that it's his banker's mind, not necessarily his relationship with Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is doing what they're supposed to do. But his banker's mind is, I don't want this upstart industry to mess with traditional finance. If you look at basically all of his moves, that's what they say to me. So I just wonder if this is going to have a larger impact around the world that says, hey, there may be other countries for crypto to go in order to operate. Does crypto go underground using DAOs or things like that? Highly possible. And that's not necessarily underground, right? It's a DAO. That's how it works. Right? A decentralized organization. So I start to look at all these things, and then I start to look at, well, Malta, United Kingdom, South Korea, other countries are all looking to either create regulation around crypto, like Nigeria. There was just a big conference in Nigeria. Nigeria does not like crypto, but guess what? Guess what's burgeoning in Nigeria? Crypto. So when I take a step back and I look at all of that, I just kind of go, all these countries are looking to regulate or looking to get out of, or looking to shore up their regulation. Sorry. And I kind of sit there and I just kind of go, yeah, if countries do the right thing, you're going to see those countries expand. If countries do the wrong thing, you're going to see them fall behind. And a big testament to this is going to be if Brazil actually says, you know what? Bitcoin is legal tender. If that happens, you're talking about millions and millions and millions of people that are probably going to use crypto. I have a friend going there for Christmas and New Year's. So I'm going to ask him when he gets there, hey, keep an eye out. Tell me what the pulse is, feet on the street. But again, I'm just looking at regulation around the world because regulation around the world will tell you what adoption is like around the world. It'll tell you what investment is like around the world. Crypto is growing in Africa, not diminishing. And that tells me a lot because you have a lot of outside, companies investing in that area. So pay attention, please. Do your own research into the projects that you're interested in. Understand the people that are involved, the businesses that are involved, who's backing it, what kind of due diligence was done. Don't think that just because a large company has invested big money in a project, that's a project for you. Case in point should be FTX. All of these large companies each gave them hundreds of millions of dollars, and that company had no CFO. No written policies, procedures on corporate expenses or anything else like that. So you gave them hundreds of millions of dollars, did not audit them. The only thing I can think of was somebody might have been thinking, well, sooner or later, we'll make money now and sooner or later it'll implode and then we'll go snatch up the goodies. That's possible. That's very possible. It's a chess move. I'm not mad about it. It's a chess move. Anyway, what we should do is take a look at the numbers, see what the world is doing, right? So let's get over to the numbers. And you know me, I like to start. Normally I would show you my spreadsheet where I'm tracking winners and losers, but we'll be able to see that because there's nothing significant going on right now in that space. So we're going to dig in right here with, the fear and greed index being at 25. Yesterday it was at 26. Doesn't matter to me because we're still existing either in extreme fear or fear. Right now, we're still steadily in extreme fear. That's just kind of sentiment based on calculations and stuff. I just use it as a, kind of weather vane, kind of deal. You can see right here that the numbers for Bitcoin, we came close to getting, you can see that low line right here. This low line right here in blue is the bottom. It was the bottom, the previous bottom. This yellow orange one is the current bottom. So we're seeing, Bitcoin trying to steadily move up, moving sideways, but, it's been moving sideways, go down, moving sideways, go up, moving sideways, go up. We're just making lateral moves right now with Bitcoin. I'd like to see it get above that 17.6, which was the previous bottom. Until it goes through from there, I'm thinking lateral moves, right? Now back to, FTX, Alameda, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Caroline Ellison. The only reason to pay attention there is only because you might hear about other players that were involved. That's the only other reason. Is there going to be additional fallout? I don't know. I think that part is over. I think we got the big fallouts that we were expecting. I think we got the ripple effects that we were expecting. I'm not necessarily seeing anything else that would transpire from there. All right. For cryptocurrencies, the rest of the cryptocurrency space, Doge is taking a dive a little bit, 5.61%. Remember, my number is 5%, so take it with a grain of salt. SHIB is down 4% or something like that, but you can see how there's a lot that's happening that's in the red. Okay, pay attention to what you're investing in. You've got Christmas, in the holiday season right here upon us. So taking a breather and then seeing how things settle out, and then seeing how things start up in January. That's a possibility. Just because you have other things that you need to take care of, last minute, purchases for food, all that kind of stuff. And food's gotten a little expensive in the United States. But we're paying attention to what's going on out there. I still have a DCA strategy, and every time my little bell goes off, dink, I go buy something. I do not pay attention to Jim Cramer other than, another buying opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Cramer, Mr. Flip Flop. Anyway, this is Eddie J on Crypto. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.